Okay. Hi, friends, and welcome back to SMAdulting. We're on session 7 now and talking about the two things people like doing the most, and they are eating and traveling. And for me, the traveling is mostly so that I can go and eat more. With me, as usual, are our friends Joyce and Ina. Say hi, both of you guys.
Hi.
Hi.
And I have exciting stuff because technically this session is the ideation of Joyce. So for most of it, I'm gonna sort of let Joyce take the lead, and then Ina and I will sort of jump in when we have brain farts. Anyway, we are going to start with food because it's the less maddening half of the show. Maddening, you heard that right, because food is calming and wonderful, and traveling not so much when you're disabled. SMA, or spinal muscular atrophy, means you have problems with muscle control and general life and health nonsense. This includes dietary needs and eating. So, we're going to be talking about our rules and guides to food and eating as women with spinal muscular atrophy. The first question that I'm going to throw out to Joyce and Ina are you both adventurous eaters? Do you eat everything or are you very specific?
Kind of like a half in between.
FF in between. And Aina, you observe halal, obviously, but are there any types of food that you particularly do not like because of the smell? You know how some people don't like kambing because
I
lamb has a
don't
smell?
like, yeah, but I don't like terong.
There.
Yeah,
Yes!
It's
We
dog.
cannot be
nice.
friends! Put this going!
No,
Anyway, um, well, why? Why don't you like terong? Is it texture?
but the weirdest thing is that I ate terong, but
Uh-huh.
with terong with sambal only.
Oh.
The
Did,
rest is raw
Okay.
terong or whatever brinjal with
uh-huh.
masak, but lemak or whatever. I won't eat that.
Is it because in masak lemak and stuff it's keras ke?
Not really. I don't know. I just don't like the taste, the texture.
Oh, interesting. I am the opposite. I love terong. Terong,
Me
for
too.
those of you who don't speak Malay, terong is aubergine or
Aubergine,
eggplant or
Or
in
brinjal.
if
brinjal.
or brinjal. And I think
It,
in one of the South Asian languages it is katrika, if I'm not mistaken.
not
Correct
sure.
me if I'm wrong.
Not sure.
But I love all of it. Like terong is the thing that binds us together as Asians.
It's like potato.
Exactly, and sometimes the Mediterranean people as well. They're like, "Oh, look at this delicious baba ganoush," and you're like, "Yes, terong, yum 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 yum." Anyway, um, now that I have sort of identified what we are going to talk about and how excited we get over eating and maybe not overeating, because we are Malaysians, I'm gonna throw out some questions that Joyce actually posed. I say me, I mean Joyce. So I'm gonna let you take the stage, Joyce. What questions do you
Oh.
have?
Okay, the first question I would like to ask is do you guys have a set of rules when you're eating out at restaurants or cafes or at events, parties, functions, or anything? Anywhere that has a gathering or something, do you have a set of rules when you're eating out?
Rules. Okay. Aina, do you want to start first? I gotta like brain this.
Rules. Not really specific rules, but number one is the cutlery must be very light, easy for me to lift up. That's the most important one.
Yeah,
hmm If
If they
definitely,
don't provide,
definitely.
if they don't provide that, I mean like, yeah, not all can. Then I will just bring my own cutlery,
oh
bring my
okay.
own fork and spoon.
You can
So do you have
you can still ask.
you can definitely
Wait,
still ask. But I know a
Yeah,
lot of hotels tend to have those stupid, like thin knives, forks, and
yeah.
spoons, and I'm like, why? This is so not ergonomic. You're gonna hurt yourself. And it's so dumb. Do you have like a bamboo set? Do you have a metal set? Do you have a plastic set? Or
I have a plastic set,
uh
the
huh,
most lightest one.
uh
It's the
huh.
kids one, I think. Yeah, the IKEA.
Ah. I kind of
That's the most easiest one, right? Like
true,
for me,
true.
yeah.
It is also light. You know what? That reminds me. Maybe your next birthday, I'll get you like a nice bamboo set because bamboo is also light, but it is also
Oh yeah, bubbles.
incredibly sustainable.
Mm-mm.
And we are going direct to sustainability, um, or at least trying to. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. I still like cows,
Yeah.
but I'm trying. Um, and I like cows to eat, because that's what we're talking about. So for me, any any hard and fast rules? I guess the table has to be big enough, and high enough so that when I sit, I am not sort of my full body isn't bearing down on the food, and I have enough space between the food and myself that I'm not exerting too much energy on my neck and shoulders because
And also leverage for the elbow.
exactly, like elbow leverage is so important. That is our pivot from
Yes.
bowl to face. So that's really important. And every time I go out with friends, if the table is too short, I'll be forced to move from my scooter to a chair, which incurs a lot of energy from my friends because they're going to have to pick me up after makan. And we all know after food, we're all just dumplings, okay? We don't want to move. And now they have to do exercise to put me back on my scooter so we can leave for ice cream. That seems like a lot of effort, but I love my friends to bits. Not complaining, especially when it comes to dim sum or hot pot. But yeah, that is my primary concern mostly.
Okay. Well, for me, I have the same set of rules.
Mm-hmm.
But if I cannot find the cutlery that is light, okay, then I usually will request for plastic ones. I mean, last time, but not now. If it's now, it's like, okay, I'll just hand it over to my caregiver and ask her to help feed me like that because I have no choice.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, most of the time when I'm outside, I tend to like look at the place. If there's elbow space, like if it's high enough for the elbow, then I can feed myself there. But usually, the tables are low, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And the most important thing is that there has to be wet tissues available, tissues and wet tissues,
I feel
because
like
that what.
continue.
No, it's okay. You can let me know what's your thoughts.
I don't know. I did know the tissue thing. I'm a chronic tissue hoarder. So when you know how you go to restaurants, they give you like an entire stack of tissue
Yes.
papers. Hi,
Yep. Yep.
Lim Yizan. Welcome to the show. We're talking about food. Um, so they give you stacks and stacks of tissue paper, right? So in my bag currently, I have a stack of tissue papers, and it looks like I have been hoarding it for a while. But every time I get 2 or 3 new sheets, I just fold it into the stack, and they go the inside. So that I just take the older ones first. I always have tissues. I just always have tissues in my bag. And that is important to me because nobody else has tissues. Like, we rely on women because women have
Yeah.
bags where we put
Has
everything.
everything.
Yes.
Um, and
Yep.
that includes tissue. So I'm just like the tissue peddler of the group. Everybody's like, "Oh, there's tissue," and I'm like, "Yes. How many do you want? I'm making it rain. Shooing, shooing, shooing." It's it's kind of the reality
Lord
that
of
we
the
have in this
tissues.
country. More tissues for all. I'm like the opera of tissues.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the tangential tissue thing. Um, so I agree with you on the wet wipes. Which brings me to how you know some Chinese restaurants they put the wet wipes in front of you enticingly,
Yeah.
and it's
Yep.
they never tell you that they're gonna charge you for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They always charge you for it because it's part of the service.
So you have to sort of ask them like, if I open this, do I have to pay for it? And they'll be like, yeah, and then you just don't touch it.
Yeah, that's true.
But if they say no, you're like, oh yeah, all the wet wipes are now mine. And they're going in my bag for future. Because you guys are just
Okay, but it
catching.
depends on it depends on the restaurant sometimes. I mean, like if you're attending a function, like those Chinese dinners or something like that, then those tissues are just free to use. But if you're like going out on dinner, then they are going to charge you. I mean, for personal
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
To stab your fork at and just put it in your mouth.
Stab my forehead and put it in my mouth. I
Any specific foods?
um.
Like any preference when you're eating outside? What's the most ordered thing on your menu?
Oh my god, I eat everything. But I would have to say that I become incredibly lazy when I have to eat crab.
Oh yeah, crab is so much fun.
Crab is incredibly mafan. I cannot, but it's so tasty. I
Yeah,
I
it's
hate
tasty, but
myself.
it's so much fun.
I have to be so mengada. I have to be so childish and needy when I go out to eat crab with my friends because I have to sit down and be like, guys, can you
Help
please
me.
open this for me? Please, I'm weak and small. It's ridiculous, but I love crab so much. But I do also think that eating crab without the shell takes all the joy out of it. So I never eat crab outside. I will always eat crab at home like a barbarian. Like two hands
But
in.
where's the joy?
Where's the joy in eating crab
where's
at
the,
home?
well, no, I mean, where's the joy in eating crabs when you are with your friends and you ask them to take it out for you? I mean, where's the joy in that?
There is no joy because now they're touching my food and I'm watching them and I'm like, I asked you to help me crack open the crab so I can eat it, not you can eat it. Please, friends. I am small and weak. Give me sustenance. I cannot deal. Um, uh, Thankfully, I don't feel the same way about most other foods yet because they tend to be quite doable for me in most situations. On a bad day, I will again stay away from shellfish. I will stay away from
Noodles?
noodles. It depends. I am a sucker for soup noodles. I love soup noodles. I am a soup noodle person. So if I cannot eat soup noodles, I am very sad. And I am
Soup noodles are
oh, they are incredibly a hazard, but they're so good, which is why you never wear white. You should never wear white when eating soup noodles because that's just problems. That's just trouble. That's just
But noodle is nice.
noodle is so good. Okay, I 100% am one of those people who I don't care about rice. I'm not a rice person. I'm a noodles person. I'm a noodles and
Yeah.
potatoes as a starch person. If they come out with
Starchy.
potato noodles, I'm sold. Like you have me forever. That is what I'm gonna be buried with for my funeral. Just
They
potato
have.
noodles.
You have potato noodles.
I've never had that, or if I had, nobody's told me they're made out of potatoes. I have a new goal now, which is to find potato noodles specifically.
Ooh.
But yeah, when it comes to noodles in general, I have to be sort of a certain height from the table and the bowl so that it doesn't splatter.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
and if you have a fish ball, there's no such thing as politely chopsticking the fish ball. You have to stab it
Yes.
like a
Or else it's
kebab,
gonna go plop.
like a heathen. I am a chopstick enjoyer. I do love chopsticks. I do think they are the best eating utensil. If you can manage to wield it properly, because you can pick up things, you can shovel things into your mouth. Yeah, you can sort of hold it to cut with your teeth. I do love chopsticks. So I fear for the day where I don't have the dexterity to use chopsticks any longer because that would be a sad day because I love chopsticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't carry chopsticks around, but I do carry a straw, which tangentially I'm going to ask, like, do you guys have a problem drinking drinks. Like, you know how we've gone the route of no more straws because we've got to save the turtles, and everybody's like,
Yeah.
yeah, no more straws. And I'm like, okay, you guys forget
Yeah.
that sometimes people with disabilities require straws because we can't pick up the cup.
True
The
indeed.
cup real heavy or real hot. Need the straw. So do you
That's
guys
why
still need?
bringing my own straw, like, I think the most important thing. Add
Oh my
on
god.
the addition.
I feel like the bringing your own straw thing was a good fad. I have one in my bag, don't get me wrong. But I'm
Mm.
the kind of person who just doesn't use straws. Like, if I can help it, I will not use straws.
Mm.
The other thing is, on a bad day, you will use straws for hot beverages, and I have a metal straw, and that is the worst. Like, you're gonna burn everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, do not do that. You want lava in your mouth? That is how you do that. Yes. Next
I
question.
wouldn't. I wouldn't drink. I wouldn't drink like hot stuff outside because it's not enjoyable. I mean, for me, yeah.
Mm.
So
Is
I
it
usually
because of
don't.
the weather, or because it's just too hot and you cannot enjoy it full stop?
I don't enjoy it because I cannot feel the the comfort of holding a warm cup in my hands and drinking from it. It doesn't feel like wholesome.
That is
I mean,
fair.
it's yeah. So for me, I wouldn't. I usually don't order hot drinks
Mm-hmm.
unless I feel really unwell. I would order hot tea, but usually I just will skip the beverage because one of the reasons will also be because I don't want to go to the toilet.
Same
So I
here.
don't drink. Yeah.
That is true.
So yeah.
It's
Oh,
true. That's one
wait,
thing
wait.
that you know when
Yeah.
we go out. That's the thing. I don't drink a lot of water, especially when you
Yeah.
go out. Avoid
Mm.
going to the toilet. And my friend would say
Mm.
like, "Why you don't order any drinks?" I say, "No, thank you."
Yeah, they
It's
always
like
ask this question. Aren't you thirsty? I'm saying, oh no, I'm not thirsty because I don't want to go to the toilet. Then they will say, I'll bring you to the toilet. I say, no, you really don't want to do that.
I mean, I adore my friends, and sometimes they do assist me in going to the
Mm.
bathroom. The women friends.
Mm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think society will look too kindly if I brought one of my male friends to sort of like assist me in the bathroom. They're gonna think other stuff. Like, get your head out of the
Yeah,
gutter,
our
please.
friend did.
Like, what are you doing? Is
Yeah.
that your husband? No, it's my friend. Are you gonna help me go pee? We're just platonic friends, man. He's not interested in the fight. Also, there is nothing more captivating is not the word. There is nothing more bonding than sort of being in the bathroom together and having a friend listen to waterfall sounds. Soothing
Yeah, my friend did
waterfall
that a lot.
sounds. It's like I feel so apologetic, especially if it's a new person. I'm like, oh my god, okay, so we're gonna do a crash course because I drank a little bit too much water. You're gonna have to help lift me. And they're like, what do you mean? And then you're gonna have to listen to the wonderful sounds of peeing. We're best friends now. I totally understand.
Yes, I I understand that. My friend goes that a lot.
It's like, congratulations, we leveled up as friends. You have now seen me at my most awkward and heard me. I mean, although they'll be turning around to face a corner, it's a very strange sort of position to be in because the bathroom is quite big. So imagine if this was a horror movie, you're peeing and there's a person staring at the wall at the corner, and you're like, this
Yeah.
would be a horror movie if not for the fact that actually they are not the horror, it's me, and I am subjecting them to the horror of bodily fluid. It's awful. It's awful, but um that is part of the reality of going out to eat with disabled people. But
Mm.
that's also if we have disabled toilets. If we don't have disabled toilets, that's even worse because now
Yeah.
now there's a chance of both of you falling, and we all know how wet Malaysian toilets are.
You.
I don't
I've
understand.
been
Like,
that.
why do you have to
It's muddy.
turn everything into a rainforest? This country is already a rainforest. You don't have to make the toilets a rainforest. Come on, man.
Rainforest. I've been into the situation where I went out with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
We had a very long day, a photo shoot, and there's no disabled toilet. And I really want to pee.
Oh
So they
no.
say like, you know what they say? It's
Mm-hmm.
okay, I know. Let's just go. I don't want you to, to hold yourself to find another other toilet. So we just went there. In fact, I think around 4 people follow me.
Yeah, because you have to. Because first you have
Yeah,
to
because I
figure
have
out
to.
the wheelchair, whether or not the
Yeah,
wheelchair can.
and
Second of all, it's the
obviously,
awkward like I I have so many guy friends where men leave men who can
uh,
men. Um, and they're like, I will carry you, and I'm like, no, the hell not. I understand you think you are strong, but you are not strong enough to carry me because I am like a drunk person who cannot walk anymore. I am a sack of potatoes. Do you want to carry a sack of potatoes? And some of them, okay, boleh lah, boleh lah. They'll be like, Eliop, and I'm like, well, I'm flying. This is nice. If you drop me, and I have said this to multiple friends, multiple times, if you drop me and I die, I will haunt you forever. And if you die in the process, I will be a ghost with you, haunting you forever as a ghost.
this remind me, there's a perception like some people say that, yeah, I am a Muslim and then I wear tudung, I can't let the other guy touch me kan.
Oh my god.
Especially going up to that. But then my friends are just wonderful. I said, they will politely ask me, Aina, is it okay if I carry you? Because I remember there's one time,
Uh-huh.
my college, the lift, I don't know what happened, breakdown lah. So we got no choice. Just guna tangga je lah kan. So
Oh
my friend
no.
was like, okay, it's okay, we carry you. And he asked me politely, is it okay if I touch you? I said, I got no other choice. It's okay. There's no such thing like it is haram ke apa ke. We are in the situation where I'm in need of help. We need to go to the cross. So there was like, oh, you are so different. I said, oh,
I mean,
that's not
okay.
different lah. That just
Here's
like
here's the thing that I sort of want to touch upon, pun not intended, is that when we're in trouble, the first thing we want to do is get out of that trouble. At that
yeah.
point, if your intention for touching me is not to help, then we have a problem. If you have to ask me, are you okay with being touched? What are you thinking?
I think he just mean like politely lah, asking maybe like there's some people like the perception of like don't touch me. You are like what muhrim and muhram kan.
That,
There's
that
like
doesn't it doesn't
woman and
matter. Like
woman.
what are you supposed to do? Call another person, make me suffer some more for a few more minutes while you grapple with the fact that you just touched a butt?
Because they're not touching the butt also kan. I think my friends, all my
kadang-kadang
friends that yeah.
is people are like, oh, why aren't you a huggy person? And I'm like, because every time I get into trouble, people are touching me anyway. I don't need any more. Like, if I want to hug you, I will let you know. But for the
Yeah.
moment, no thanks. Also, hugging is very awkward if you're on a wheelchair. Like, just it's weird. But yeah, absolutely, the whole moving, which is part of traveling, by the way, and we're definitely on topic. Is
Wait, we haven't asked Aina. We haven't asked Aina about the specific foods that she would stick to for easy handling.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, before big tangent.
Okay. Before that one
Yes.
not
Yeah.
really. No, there's no specific food. It's just anything that I can eat. I eat everything.
So
Maybe
that means
something
that
soft,
you don't mind.
Do you
that means
make
you don't
your
mind handling.
uh-huh. Yeah.
Mhm.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Shah, just go for it.
Okay. Do you get your friends to cut your food for you?
Yeah, all the time. I don't even ask I don't need to ask them for they will just like take away the plate and do it for me straight away.
Aw, best friends.
Like,
Best friends.
oh, that's so friend. That's so good. I say like, oh, thank you so much.
Necessary. Like
You know what? That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
yeah,
That's a
you
good
have
thing. At least you
been
know that
with
they
them.
are your people.
Yeah, you have been with them for so long that they've sort of memorized what to do. It becomes second nature to them. My friends tend to go
Yeah.
out and then identify whether or not a place is accessible for the skura. Like, okay, this place has ramps. This place has X amount of stairs. It has disabled toilets. We can go here.
I think it's more about mindfulness, you know. I mean, mindfulness, some people have it, so they are more in tune to what other people need. I mean, the needs of other people, they are more
Absolutely.
aware of it. So it's about mindfulness, actually.
Mm.
I agree. I agree.
So if you have this kind of friends who are mindful of your needs, then you know they are your people and you are with the right people. And they are
I
really your friends.
that said, it doesn't mean that people are automatically mindful or
Yeah.
in tune with you. You have to let them know. People don't read minds, so everybody who thinks this is a magical unicorn that doesn't exist, they exist because we tell them things. They exist
We teach
because
them.
every interaction is a learning moment, is a teachable moment. So y'all don't think that everybody comes kitted out with mindfulness training. They
Yeah, you just need to let them know. Sometimes
yeah.
they don't know.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. I completely forgot what I was gonna say before. So
You were talking about traveling. You were on topic about the traveling you were saying. The
I
traveling thing.
I cannot remember.
You said you were we were on topic about the traveling thing. So
Yeah. So
you
that's
want to
why we're
continue
talking
with
about
that?
this. Um,
Yeah.
no, I shall not continue because if it's important, it'll pop back up somewhere.
Okay, so we'll go on to the next question.
Yeah.
What's the most embarrassing moment during a meal? Have you ever experienced like have you ever experienced anything awkward during a meal, like your
Huh.
food suddenly went flying to another person's face or something?
I would like to see that. I would love to see that.
I've had that happen
Preferably.
before, you know.
Oh my God. Okay. If that happened
You
to
know, you
me, the person that it flies towards hopefully is a good looking man. So we can rom-com this shit. That's besides the point. You were talking about how that actually happened to you. Where,
okay.
why, and how?
Okay, it was like this. I was well, when I was working at a charity organization. During that time, I was attending a charity function. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so what happened was that my caregiver, she was sitting beside me, and I was handling a shrimp.
Uh-huh.
So she wanted to help out, and then I was like, no, don't help me, don't touch me. I'm like, I am like, you know, so adamant that I have to get this shrimp on the shelf by myself, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was working on the shrimp, I was pulling at the shell. Wasn't working, obviously, because I didn't have the strength to like de-shell it. So what happened was that when I stabbed the shrimp, I tried to pull off the shell. The shrimp went flying to her face. Luckily, it landed on her plate. Yeah, so nothing happened. It's just that she was shocked. So yeah, that's why I said, did you guys have any experience, like the food went flying to another person's face? Because that
No,
was what happened to me.
no, not people's faces.
No.
I I think I know when I sort of am in a situation where I cannot deal with the food, so I'm like, hey guys, can you just do this for me? And then I push it aside. Um,
Oh,
that is a problem though when you are a seasoned eater. I
season
do
either.
I do like to eat and I do eat a lot of different things, which means I do know how to extract uh, a morsel of food from whatever shell or container it's in. For example, escargot, yabbies, and things like that. Other people do not know how to eat certain things. So usually,
Mm.
the hardest part for me is trying to tell them how to get at the meat so that I can eat it. And then sometimes I have to struggle. For example, with the yabbies, some people don't know how to break the shell. So it's like a pinching motion, and then it's I don't even know how to do it on like a audio format. You just have to watch. But to do that, you kind of have to be a little bit dexterous and a little bit more strong than I am. So that's definitely a risk. Um,
Can, wait, can I know what's a yabby?
a yabby, also known as a crayfish, also known
Oh,
as a
okay.
crawfish, is tiny, tiny lobsters.
Oh, there's not much meat in there, is there?
The tail meat is delicious though. It's very sweet. It's
It's very
so
hard to pull it off.
I know. So what I do
Oh,
is sometimes I will ask the kitchen of the restaurant, "Do you have scissors?"
oh, okay.
I have gone to a duck rice restaurant before, because you know duck is very sticky on the bones, right?
Mm.
So the place that I went to, I couldn't get into the duck with a fork and spoon. So I looked at the guy and I was like, "Do you have a knife?" And he just looked at me like, baby." And I'm like, "Can I have a knife? Can I just have a knife to cut this?" And they were like, "Okay, give me a second." And they gave me the biggest knife. And I'm like, "Okay, I understand this is a restaurant. You might not have that, and this is a duck rice joint. I get it." So it was just me like going butcher on tiny pieces of duck and just enjoying myself. It's a very disconcerting look because I'm just like, yeah, nom nom nom.
You know what? When you say that, it reminds me of the movie Hector.
Oh,
Hannibal? Is it
Hannibal,
Hannibal? Yeah, yeah,
Hannibal.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yes, that is a very good show, and apparently it gave a lot of people daddy issues
Why?
because of Mads Mikkelsen.
Okay.
He's a very very attractive man in a way. Anyway,
Okay.
Aina, I don't remember if you've
I don't
answered the
have,
question.
yeah, I don't have any embarrassing moment as far as I remember lah.
Mhm.
I don't think so. There's not much. No, I don't think there is.
Okay,
Mm.
okay,
I'll
okay,
skip that.
okay. Skip. Okay, next
Okay,
question.
so let's go on to the next question. The thing that annoys you most about eateries, like the environment or the setting, or the services, or something like that. Like, have you ever been to a restaurant or a cafe that annoyed you because of the environment
Mm-hmm.
or the seating, the place that they were, or how they managed the place, or something like that, or their service, the servers, their manners or something.
Mm-hmm. For me, I would say this is when I was younger, when I didn't have sort of the commanding presence that I have now. I say commanding, it's like hello, I am here. Um, Before I was a little bit more meek and less sort of there, so I didn't call the shots. For example, now if I go to a restaurant, if I see a place I want to sit and it's accessible, I will usually go, "Hey," to the waiters, "Do you mind moving 2 chairs away from me so I can sit there?" Or I'll actually have a conversation with anyone of the floor staff and be like, "Oh, do you have a place that I can sit at that is accessible?" Or I will call in advance, like, "Are there any steps?" Blah blah blah. Most of these things can be circumvented, although just recently there was this one time I went for hot pot for a friend's birthday, and I rocked up there. It was in a very quiet mall, and the staff got me on a bad day. um it was a day where I'm like, I dare anyone to pick a fight with me right now. And true enough, they picked a fight with me. They looked at me and they went, "Miss, you cannot bring your scooter in there." And then I just looked at them and I'm like, "How the F do you think I'm gonna go to my seat?
Oh.
Are you gonna carry me?" Obviously
Mm.
they became flustered, and then I sort of like, after the initial shock of like, "Bitch, what you say to me right now?" I'm like, "Okay, no, they're trying to do their job. But I know myself better." So I told them, "I'm going to go. I have space. People are nice. They will move." And true enough, people moved. They moved some of the chairs, and I sat. No problem. I think the problem with a lot of people is they have assumptions. One of the assumptions is that we can be bullied into submission. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Some people can be bullied into submission. If you try to bully me, you're gonna get in trouble. No. I think that's the only thing
Okay.
I can think of when it comes to sort of environments. Um, yeah.
Okay.
I think I experienced the same thing with you. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm,
The
mm-hmm.
eating environment last happened recently at a mosque.
Mm.
Kira a mosque macam the secondary, so I wasn't allowed to go in with my wheelchair. They
Mm.
asked me to transfer to their wheelchair, and I was like, nope, I don't want to transfer. I don't want to transfer to your wheelchair. I have my own wheelchair, my own seating, the adjustment like according to my needs, and then you ask me to move. I'm like, no, thank you. It's okay. If you don't allow me to go in, I won't go in.
Mm-mm. What did they do?
So, um, the guard keep on like pujuk me. Go in lah, go in, just go in. Tak apa, just transfer here, just transfer this wheelchair to this wheelchair. Then you can go and makan-makan to the kenduri kan. That was my relative wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, I'm being very stubborn. I stay outside.
Like the
I don't
point is
even.
not that I don't want to go in or you don't want to go in. The point is that when you remove me from my wheelchair,
Yeah.
and I say me, I mean all of us, you're taking away
Mm-mm.
our agency. You're taking away our ability to
Yeah, you're
make
talking
decisions for
our.
ourselves.
I know, right? But then the funny thing is that when they ran out of a wheelchair, they immediately say, "Oh, okay, can go in, can go in. Never mind, just go in with your wheelchair." I'm
I
like,
feel like
"Oh,
a
you
lot of
plastic."
sakit hati kan? A lot of our lives is just
Sakit
a
hati.
battle of mental attrition. Like how long can you last before somebody else caves? Because we have to be so stubborn when it comes to our
Mm-mm.
place and our agency and our ability to do our own thing because everybody seems to think that we are not informed. They're like, "Oh, you don't
Yeah,
know anything, you're disabled." And I'm like, "I know a lot of things." Hmm. That is a bad argument. No, stop. Um
I know, right? And I think I'm glad I stayed outside throughout the whole wedding. I don't even go inside.
at
I
the
mean,
same
that kind of taught them the lesson. Like, oh, I don't listen to you. I'm sorry. I know even the akak guard like, the makcik guard was like, degilnya budak ni, degilnya budak ni. Aku dah suruh masuk dalam like that. I'm like, whatever lah, whatever. I'm like shutting my ears, not
yeah,
hearing
I mean, you have
anything,
to
and just stay outside.
the guild point,
Yeah.
yes, the guild because I don't want to be at the beck and call of somebody else. When you put
Mm.
yourself in another wheelchair that you have no ability to move around, you're at the will of another person.
Yeah,
I like
and
moving out
that's
myself.
one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one more thing. I cannot. How do you say this? I cannot. The safety of my wheelchair. How I'm
Yes.
going to ensure that leaving it behind and
So
it's
lah,
safe. No one touched it.
like
Yeah,
I will
it's like
say
cost
this.
me
I will say
thousands. But
this. Everybody's like, oh, wheelchair, senang je, murah je. And I'm like, walau tak kalau senang
yeah,
murah. Like, this thing costs as much as, no, this thing costs as much as 5 secondhand kanchils, okay? Don't even.
true indeed.
And honestly, the most pertinent thing about having your own wheels is for Joyce and Ina, I think both of you have significant back problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have like very specific seats in your wheelchair so that you don't injure yourself, right?
It's not
Yeah,
about
sure.
injuring. It's not about injuring yourself. It's about the positioning. It has to be in a certain position so that it doesn't affect the spine. I mean, like
Uh-huh.
if you're in a wrong sitting position for too long, it can affect the nerves, and once nerves get compressed, there will be a lot of complications. So that's why
Yeah.
I always prefer to have my own seat in my own wheelchair because it feels more comfortable. If I'm like moved to another seating, that it's going to be very uncomfortable for me, and I won't
Mm-hmm.
enjoy the rest of my day. Get
Absolutely.
Mm,
tired.
absolutely. Yep.
It's like the wheelchair is already a part of my body, so it's like if I get detached from it, it's like I'm lost.
I,
You
I
know what I
think
mean?
I think the most arbitrary way to sort of put in perspective is you come with a set of clothes and underwear and bra or whatever, and somebody's like, "No, you can't wear those. You have to change to this." And you're
Sort
like,
of, yeah. In a
Sort
way,
"Wait,
of.
I'm not gonna use other people's bra. Damn, that's gross."
I mean, like if you're a size A, but someone asks you to use a size B, that would be like weird. You know,
Exactly.
something like
It
that.
it
It's
just
like,
the fit isn't right. It's dangerous for you. Also, it's kind of gross. And you know, if you're so worried about the cleanliness of my wheelchair, then help me clean it.
Yeah,
It's
right.
just
Just the
wheels.
most. It's just the easy thing to do. It's just ask me to clean or help me clean.
Yeah. Wet wipes, yo. As Joyce said, wet wipes. That's why we
Right,
have
right.
them. I mean, it's not hard. Just
Advocate of wet wipes.
advocate wet wipes. We're gonna open the Holy Church of Wet Wipes. Next question.
Okay. Have you guys experienced difficulties with like eating, swallowing, drinking, or chewing, or anything that has to do with digesting your food, something like that? Have you guys experienced any of it?
Yes, but
Any
I'm gonna
complications?
ask you first.
Ooh, me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go first then. For me, sometimes I do get a bit of a choking problem.
Uh-huh.
A bit, sometimes, occasionally. Okay, not occasionally, but sometimes. I don't know why it happens. It just happens. So you can see me fine 1 minute, and then the next thing you know, I'm all red and choking.
Okay.
And as for chewing, yes, chewing as well, because if the food is too hard, then you get jaw ache. For
Mm.
me, I don't know about you guys,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, that's the two, choking and chewing. Yeah.
Okay. I
All
did
right. One more thing. One more
experience.
thing. One
Yeah,
more
go
thing.
ahead.
One
Go
more
ahead.
thing.
Go ahead.
The food cannot be too sticky. If
Ah.
it's too sticky, it's like gonna get stuck at the roof of my mouth, and I'm like, oh no, I cannot do it.
Oh
You
no.
know, have you seen like those dogs where their owners give them peanut butter and it sticks to the roof of their mouth, and then they're like, constantly
Yeah.
like something
Uh-huh.
like that. Yeah,
Oh
something like that.
no. So, Korean rice cakes? No.
No, 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 definitely no.
Boba tea.
What is that?
You know those boba balls, tapioca starch balls.
I don't fancy those. Really, I don't fancy those.
Same. I don't like them. It's like a surprise. Somebody else made this joke. Like when you drink it, it's like you, it's like suddenly something in your mouth. You're like, no, no. I said not yet.
I don't like it.
It's a surprise. It's like no. Also, I just don't like the texture. What about pulut?
I think I kind of like border on that. I cannot give you an exact answer on that because it's like a love-hate relationship with that.
Oh, okay, 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 okay. Got it, got it. But yeah, I don't like rice
No, what
cakes.
is the when you have to take a pill, how do you just swallow it?
Mm-hmm.
How do you have any problem? Because for me, I have an incident where I just came out from hospital. Okay, baru je hospitalized for a month put, and then I have to continue antibiotic at home. The pill is quite big. I already crushed it into two or four, but then I
Oh
got
yeah,
stuck.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh my god. I'm like,
Yes, I can
oh no no no.
understand that. I can relate to
Yeah,
that. That is relatable. You know what? It's like you've already crushed it into quarters, and you still cannot
yeah,
swallow
but
the
still,
damn
it's
thing.
still stuck. Yeah, I know that, and I was like, oh my god. I just came out from the hospital. I don't want to go to eat again. That thought.
Okay, thankfully I do not have that problem because when I was little, we had to take a lot of vitamins and tabib kind of little
Uh,
black pills and stuff because we're Asian. If you can't get the medical community like the legit pharmaceutical medication, you go to tabibs and other sort of traditional medicine. They're like, okay, eat these little brown pellets and you'll be fine. And you're like, okay. Sometimes I would have to swallow up to 8 pills. So 8 normal size capsules. And it's sort of a game for me to sort of, okay, 8 in 1 go, let's go. But
yeah, it
it's the trick is to make sure they're all lubricated with water and then you swallow immediately and it will align itself in your throat. But I made the mistake of swallowing just 2 pills. It's just vitamin C capsules. And I did not drink water because I thought I would be a hero and just swallow la. It got stuck in my throat. I was like, this is how I die. Okay, okay. And the whole time just downing an entire liter of water, like, okay, I don't want to die now. I have a lot of stupid things to do. And I don't want my friends to know that I died from swallowing a bunch of shitty pills. And it's vitamin C. It's not even cool pills. I'm not going on a rave. I just want my vitamin C. Damn. It
You
was
know what?
stuck in my
Every time I
throat
see
for a
those
while.
pills,
Uh-huh.
every time I see those pills, I'm like, no, I am not going to swallow that. I've been hospitalized before. I've rejected medication. The nurses were scolding me. The doctor was scolding me. Everyone was scolding me. Everyone was saying that I'm stubborn as hell. And I'm like, no, no more medication. You are not going to make me eat those things.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, so mm,
I
imagine how much I don't like swallowing big stuff. It's
I
not
can
that
imagine.
big, but you know, you kind of like choke when you're swallowing. I don't know
Uh-huh.
why I have this problem. You guys probably have the same thing, right?
It's called
So,
a
I
gag
have. I do have.
reflex. It's a thing
Is
to
it the?
stop us
I
from
think it's the
dying.
SMA in the us, right?
Also we have weak throat muscles, so that has something to do with it
Mm,
because we cannot sort
you
of
do?
undergo. We do. Every muscle in our
we
body
do.
is compromised. So
Oh.
Yeah.
how your throat works is through this thing called peristalsis. We learned this in
Mm.
biology. It is an involuntary flexion of muscles, and it happens through a
Mm-hmm.
lot of. If you have a tube in your body, chances are it undergoes peristalsis. And one of it
Oh.
is through your esophagus into your stomach. So when you swallow, it's peristalsis. And because our
Okay.
muscles aren't as strong, what happens is it doesn't get to push the food down as efficiently as other people.
Mm. Okay, quick question.
Go ahead.
Just a quick question. Okay,
Mm,
I have this thing. Sometimes I do experience it. I don't know if you guys experience it or not. But
Mm-hmm.
when I swallow, sometimes the throat just kind of like, stops swallowing. It just kind of like gets stuck there. It cannot open. I cannot
Oh,
swallow. I'm like,
oh.
the food is already in my mouth. It's already chewed. It's already like, already mushy and everything, but I cannot swallow. It's like I'm stuck there for like 3 seconds. Then I can, finally swallow. I don't know why that happens. It happens
that happened to me
sometimes.
recently. I've had a bit of bad luck, and it caused me a
Uh-huh.
pinched nerve on my neck somewhere, and it made me have muscle arm strength and neck strength problems. And
Okay.
I did undergo a problem that you just mentioned. So what I had to do was every time I wanted to swallow, I have to tilt my head back.
Tilt
And
your head back.
yeah, so
Cute.
so I'm straightening my throat so it goes in faster instead of having to use my tongue and my jaw to sort of push the food back. Like I become a
Oh.
baby bird.
Uh,
Oh, because mine is kind of like the whole thing just closes up. Nothing can go through. It's like you're stuck there. You're not choking, but you're stuck there. You
There's
cannot
a
swallow the
traffic
food,
jam
but
in your throat.
it's yes, something like that. I know, do you have it or not? Have you
I
experienced it yet?
haven't experienced it. I don't think so. Not so far.
Hmm.
Do you experience it
No.
frequently?
Well, maybe in 1 month I might experience it like a few times, 5 to 6 times. Yeah.
Do you
Mm.
do you take into account we're gonna go into sort of periods and side effects for a while. I know it's kind of gross, but you're gonna have to listen to this because you're listening to this podcast and you actually have a choice. um Close your ears for 5 seconds if you don't want to hear this starting now. um do you know if this happens when you are on your period or about to get period? Because I know that I'm weaker a week before I get my period.
Now that you
Yeah.
mention it, yes. Now that
Yes,
you mention
yes,
it, yes, yes.
yes, yes.
That said, everybody tuning back in, hello again. Welcome to unblocking your ears and listening to our beautiful voices. Do you sort of not make plans during that week? Are you one of those people? Because sometimes if
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna have a bad week, I'll be like, guys, I know I made plans, but I really cannot. Unless you want to babysit a
Yeah.
whiny little bitch who is complaining about not being able to eat right now. And if you do, I love you very much.
Same here. I will alert my friends. I will like, oh no, I know we have made plans, but can we postpone it? But they will be like, oh, you're on the weak mode, is it? Yeah,
Yeah,
or the mode to silent mode,
it's
hibernating. I'm like,
it's
yes,
Shark Week.
yes.
Yes.
It's not
I'm like,
it's not that I
yeah.
want to be at home. It's just that I physically cannot. I am noodles right now.
Mm-mm.
I am physically and mentally unavailable for 1 week.
Exactly. I've checked out, guys. And it is extra horrible if I have physio that week.
Yeah.
I have physio
Yeah.
every week, but and I'm one of those people who try to push myself. I've reached some
Not
milestones,
really.
and I'm glad. So the PT will be like, okay, how you feeling today? And I'm like, oh, I'm not so good. And then I have to force myself to do all 3 sets. Otherwise, if I'm really malas, I'll be like, oh, everything hurts. Can I just do 2? But if I do that, I know it's a slippery slope to no exercise. I will never do that unless
Well,
I'm dying.
last time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, last time when I was still with physio, when it's period time, I would usually cancel because, honestly speaking, I really don't have the strength during that 7 days of hell. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't, indulge in physio during that time. Usually, I would just cancel.
Mm-hmm. You know your body best. And we are definitely people that do not want to fatigue ourselves because fatigue is really bad. I don't know if we spoke about this before, but fatigue just bad. Like if you get into fatigue, you are down and out for like a month at least.
Fatigue
Mm-mm.
is bad because the one thing about fatigue is that you cannot reverse the effects once you get that.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of like
Mm-mm.
lingers with you for, I don't know, a certain amount of time. Sometimes the fatigue can cause you to lose a function. I've had that before. I don't know why. Maybe it's different for every person, but for me, if I, get too much fatigue, some of my limbs or, like fingers, it stops working.
Mm-hmm.
And then it takes a amount of time to get back the strength. I think I've had both hands with the thumbs kind of like paralyzed for a certain amount of time
Mm-hmm.
before they got back to normal. The thumbs, they couldn't even bend, they couldn't even do anything, they couldn't even grab the pencil.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I think it took around almost a year for it to get back to normal on both hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so that happened to me last year. The whole pinch nerve thing ruined everything, and it also involved my grip. I could not hold the knife to cut vegetables. I'm still struggling with that, but it's getting better and better and better because prolonged usage and basically exercise is helping. But oh, it was scary. Like for me, when that happened to me, I was like, "Is this the end?"
Yeah, I feel it too.
It's so scary.
I,
And
I know the feeling. I know the feeling. I know. I've
Yeah,
been
yeah,
there.
I know the feeling. It's very like, oh my god, no, 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 please don't.
no, I have too many things
It's
to
like this is
do.
it. This is it. This is it. This is the end. The end. The end. I'm like that.
No. Thankfully, it's just me being overly dramatic. I I don't know. I feel like if the end does come, I still won't be able to realize it because I just want to live and do things. I know I'm very prepared to be like, okay, yeah, um, medically assisted lights out kind of thing. We had a podcast about this. If you want to know more, you can
Yes.
just go to that podcast and listen to me talk about that. It's very very interesting. But yeah, I feel like we have gone on a really big tangent. We should go back
Yeah.
to
Uh-uh.
difficulties. I think. Did
Yeah. I
anybody
think
have
the
problems?
last. Um. Yeah. I think we've already spoken about that. Ina's already answered. So, I think the next last two questions. Wait. Okay. What's your best or worst experience while dining out? Anyone wants to share?
Uh, I don't mind starting. Worst experience, not being allowed to dine in a place because they don't have access.
Oh,
And it's just
okay.
very unapologetic. They're like, "Oh, we can't. There's no RAM, so we can't bring you in." And I'm like, "So I'm not eating here." And they're like, "Sorry." But it's the kind of sorry that's
So
you're not really sorry, are you?
yeah,
Um,
that very insincere.
the best experience is going to bars and being a person in wheelchair, so everybody just gives you free drinks.
Oh,
Because
that's
you're
cool.
sad and pathetic and in a wheelchair and you're a girl and you're sad.
Oh, okay.
So you milk it and you get all the free drinks and you never have to pay for anything again.
Wow. I mean, look on the bright side.
Free drinks! I will never say no to free drinks. Come on. I love free drinks.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, so those are my experience. Just generally, I have the wherewithal and the presence to never deny myself what I want for the most part. And the grace to sort of back away and say, this is not my fight. I cannot fight with these people. There's no point.
Okay. So,
What about you?
what about Ina?
Oh, I know.
I'll go later.
Okay.
My my words would be more or less like the same like Shah. So I'll just like copy paste that. Okay, it's just in different place. Okay, and my best would be like I had a reunion with my friends. We
Mhm.
haven't met for like 4 years, 5 years after school. So then they all be like, "Oh, they know me so well. They just take my plate and cut the food for me."
Oh,
That will be the best best friend. I'm like, oh my god, you guys remember the little thing?
my heart. Aw.
I'm like, oh, okay. That is like so good.
You
The
guys are the
smallest
best
things.
people.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, okay. That was like the best reunion dinner we ever had.
Nice. Joyce.
Okay.
Joyce.
So, for me, the worst experience while dining out. I think I've shared with you guys before about the sushi restaurant, the Japanese restaurant, where they didn't really welcome me because my wheelchair was kind of like chunky in a way. So because of their narrow seating, and because there were a lot of customers in there, so they kind of like tried to put me somewhere else, and I ended up in the quiet corner of the restaurant, far from the other customers. But anyway, yeah, I still continue my meal, and then after that, I paid and left. And the best one was, well, enjoying meal with friends. And there was one cafe that actually went out of their way to get me seated because their restaurant is like in a shop lot. Okay, so there are steps that you have to go up to get into that restaurant, but they took out tables and chairs. Yeah, so they set the table outside the shop, and yeah, that was nice. I mean, they went out of their way to do something like that just to get me seated, so I appreciated that a lot. Yeah, so that's my experience of like the best.
I still posit that most people will try to help you where and when they can. Um, of the people that sort of give you negative experiences don't know how to respond to you, and it's sort of your job to educate them. So on a good day, I will be nice. On a bad day, like that guy who told me I couldn't go in with my wheelchair, that was not a great day for him. It's a learning moment for him to not make assumptions. But most times I'm very friendly, I'm very calm, because you don't get information across if you're screaming at people. But yes, stuff
Okay.
and things.
Okay, so yeah, about food delivery.
Yeah, so we have technically come to the end of Joyce's questions, and I do have a bunch of stuff to sort of talk about. And the first one is, yes, food deliveries and grocery delivery services. Do you use them?
Yes,
Yes, most
definitely.
of the time.
Tell me your experiences in using these deliveries. For both, you can go either food delivery like your basic as McD, KFC, or your local kopitiam, or groceries where you go to rest in peace Tesco, which is now Lotus.
Oh,
How's
okay.
your experience with that?
Okay, I'll go first. For me, I usually do groceries like one every few days, or maybe like once a week, twice, or something like that, like 2 weeks once sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the situation. So, usually I would use Food Panda,
Mm-hmm.
and because they do have that what they call the Panda Mart.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Uh-huh.
I usually use that because I get discounts using that, so that's kind of nice. Well, that's kind of convenient as well because I'm not able to go to grocery stores every time I need food, so that's a convenience for me. And usually, I would send my caregiver downstairs because I live in a condo, so uh, someone has to go down and grab the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a convenience for me. And sometimes when I'm not up for home cooking, I would usually order food also through food delivery services like Foodpanda or Grab, and yeah, I think it's a convenience for people like us because we don't have the convenience of going out every time we want to or
Mm-hmm.
whenever we like it. Yeah, so there's not much of a struggle if compared to last time before we have these food delivery services. I had to like go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
And going to the grocery store is not a fun thing to do, especially when it's raining.
Oh, okay. Let's rain is a problem. We'll get back to that in the travel portion.
Yeah. So, well, when I used to do groceries physically in the store, I would usually bring my caregiver, and then she would load the stuff uh, and hang them on the back of my wheelchair or either their side, which has a handle,
Mm-hmm.
and then we would like have to walk all the way back to the apartment that I was renting at the time. So it was a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like there's no need for it because there are the services. So I think, yeah, uh, it's not bad. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, when it, I'm just going to add that although a lot of people viewed the whole COVID pandemic thing in a negative light, we also got a lot of very positive things out of it, especially for the people who are disabled.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of
Yeah.
things happened for us that were good actually. One of it is work from home, and delivery services stepped up uh their game full stop. And all these things just became second nature to us, and a lot of people are like, we want to go
Accessible.
back to before. I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't really want to go back to before was kind of horrible actually.
Mm.
Prior to that, I did use Tesco's delivery service. It used to be 3 ringgit for the service charge. Now it's, I think,
Yes. It's like
They
between,
six or
increase it,
seven
it's
or
like,
yeah, six
yes.
or
yeah.
10 actually. Like if you want to do next day, it's like 10 ringgit, and I'm like, no, okay, fine, I'll
Yes.
order a lot.
You have to
Um,
like order I think 120 above I think for free delivery.
I don't think I've ever gotten free delivery from them, and I usually order about 100 above. Um,
Oh my god.
So this was in the before times for Tesco. Tesco doesn't exist anymore. It's been
Mm.
replaced by Lotus. It got bought over
Versus,
by the Thai company. Um, yeah,
I think not
I
much has changed.
yeah, that's true. Which is fine because it was pretty good. I go to the Ampang one. Um, that's
Oh,
yeah, the
okay.
huge one. Okay, I am contrary to you. Rain aside, I love going to the supermarket, picking groceries, getting vegetables, picking fish, going through the produce section is a joy for me. I love going through and sifting through the best of the best, picking things up texturally, examining them, smelling them. You know the whole process of you watch people go grocery shopping and they pick up a melon and they smell it and you're like, is that a thing? Do we have to do that? Or people squishing avocados, don't do that. Like stop it, you're bruising the avocado, stop it. I enjoy that. That entire process is wonderful to me because it helps me understand the fruit, vegetable, fish, poultry, etc. better, and it helps me understand the person selling it. For example, if I go to Tesco and I go, "This, what fish is this?" They're like, "Oh, it is this fish," and I'm like, "How do you cook it?" They don't know. But if I went to like the pasar, the wet market, and I'm like, "What fish is this?" They're like, "Oh, it's this fish. How do I cook it?" They'll bring their wife or whoever is the professional cook. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, this fish is good in masalama, blah blah blah," and then I get a whole recipe out of it. That is a joy to me
Oh.
to be able to sit down and speak with them and get to know them, and then eventually, if you go there more often enough, you get discounts because they know you. That is the truth of the matter. You're engaging with the community, and in return, you get more stuff. Uh, I I honestly love doing that and
I
being.
like.
Uh-huh. Sorry, guys.
Actually,
like
I
what?
do like grocery shop. Yeah. No, actually, I do enjoy grocery shopping, but I don't like the journey going to and
Ah,
fro
I
to the place because
I
it's a
will
hassle.
agree. I will agree on that. I think for Tesco Ampang, it's a lot easier because you can be dropped off at the main covered area. It's big enough for you to sort of get out, get your wheelchair there. But the stupid thing I don't understand is whoever the town city planner, whoever plans buildings, they always put disabled parking without awnings. And I'm like, yo, everything's gonna get wet. You dumbass. You not use your tiny ass brain. How did you get in this position in the first place if you don't know basic skills? It's gonna rain. You think the wheelchair is gonna have a great time? I'm not gonna have a great time. And then everybody's gonna be sick because of you. Hate it. But happy story. Taking you back to a happy story and a happier time. I was doing groceries at 7 o'clock in the morning back when I was in uni in another country, and I would usually buy soy milk. And the soy milk that I buy is usually on like the top shelf, which I cannot reach. Me being on a wheelchair and the shorty that I am will struggle and sort of track down a person in my eye line and be like, "Excuse me, sorry, can you help get the soy milk?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, yeah, okay." Pass. But it was 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm mamay gila, and I guess I have been there often enough that they realize that the soy milk needs to be at eye level or lower for me, that I went to the shelf and without looking, I saw the person working there, the stocky, and I was like, "Hi, can you get me this brand soy milk? I can't reach it." He turned around and looked at me and looked at the shelf, and then I looked at the shelf and realized I was at eye level to the soy milk, and I'm like, "I am so sorry. It is 7 o'clock in the morning. I didn't realize you changed it. It used to be up there." And they were like, "Yeah, we know we changed it because you take it a lot." And I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
guys,
that's sweet.
oh, you just don't want to help me anymore." Damn. But yeah, that's such a thoughtful thing for them to do.
Yeah.
So sometimes happy stories that make me happy when it comes to cooking and delivery services. Food. I do have a bad story about food though. I ordered from Food Panda, and the rider, I specifically wrote to the rider, "Please come to the door. I cannot pick it up." And what the guy did was he put it at the highest point next to my gate outside. I was so pissed. I was like, I asked you to come to the door. You put it at the highest point on the gate. Now I have to
You know what?
bother someone in my house to go get it or bring a stick that I wish you was still here so I can beat you with it.
You know what? Let me tell you something. The writers usually don't read those notes.
God damn it!
They don't.
They don't.
Trust me,
Yeah,
they
they
don't.
don't. Only
You can
some lah.
you can put like 1,000 notes there and they won't read a single one.
But this was the first time it happened and I was so flabbergasted. I was like, why? And it was KFC too. I was trying to hide the fact that I was gonna eat junk food. Damn.
Oh.
Like it was junk food
Why
day
you
and
wanna hide?
because
Why
it's
you
my
wanna hide?
junk food goblin day. Where I eat like a
What?
goblin.
So what? There's nothing wrong, right?
No, it's a lot of food for one person.
Why?
That's like a meal for the whole day.
Oh,
Like when I tell you like once a month during that time of the month, I go goblin mode. Eating junk food
why?
is one of them. I don't know. I have cravings. I'll be like, I need fried food. I need potatoes. I need something.
Oh,
And then I will order a lot of it.
okay.
I'll squirrel up in my room and then I will have deep regret because I can't finish it, so it goes into the fridge. So it's more like a mental thing where I have to psych myself up to order
Oh,
this because I don't eat junk food often, so when I eat it, there's a lot of shame. Like I eat junk food once a month. And then once I've already it's always like, okay, this month if I've had McDonald's, next month I will not have McDonald's. I'll have KFC. But it is
Oh.
also because I cannot have too much MSG. MSG shuts me down. Like I don't know if it's a spinal muscular atrophy thing, but if I eat MSG, my muscles will feel tired. I will start retaining water and I become very, very weak. So I don't know what's going on there, but I have learned, I have been trained by my own body abusing me to not eat a lot of MSG, which means if I go out, I will be very mindful of where we go because I'm like, does this have MSG? Yes, I will not eat it. Or I won't eat a lot of it.
you know, you make MSG sound like a meat tenderizer for humans.
I cannot affirm or deny this. I just know that it is not great for me. I don't know if it's a meat tenderizer or it shuts down my nerves. I have no idea, but it makes me very unhappy because everything has MSG in it.
Yes, I mean, it's the same for me. I cannot eat things with too much MSG. When MSG hits my system, you see me. I'll become like, what do you call it? Like everything goes out of whack. You know, I mean, from from the peeing part to
Yeah.
the digestion part, and I don't know, but I'll get headaches.
So people
Something
who are
like that.
like MSG, what is it? Being allergic to MSG is actually a made up disease. And I'm like, your head lah made up. Then why does it affect me so much? Damn. Um, if I eat a lot of MSG, I need a day to recover. I drink so much water. The water gets retained. I get what I call
Ah,
hippo feet. Like my feet will
yep,
swell up. I look like a pregnant
yep.
woman.
Oh,
Like it's terrible. Then all the water
it's the same.
gets sucked into my body and the next day I just like I pee the whole day. Like it's
It's the
continuous.
same. It's the same for me. It's the same.
I
But my face will
legitimately
become swollen.
your face becomes what?
Swollen.
Swollen, exactly, because it's the water retention. I legitimately want somebody who is a scientist, a nutritionist or something to go and figure out what is going on with MSG and nerves or MSG and water retention. What is going on? I know it's a salt, but what is it? Why shut down?
It's
Why?
not. It's not just a salt, it's a chemical.
I mean, I don't know what the chemical makeup of monosodium glutamate is, but I know it's bad for me.
It's bad for everyone.
I don't know. Some people are okay with it, or they just don't feel it as much. I cannot say, but all I know is it's bad for me. It's bad for my brother. It's bad for you. Does Aina have a problem with MSG?
So, I don't think so.
Mm.
I'm not sure. I think I'm okay with that. Or maybe I don't know. I don't eat junk food at all. I mean, like, not at all lah. I rarely eat junk food because since childhood, my mom was like, no to twisties, no to
No,
whatever the potato chips or whatever. So
no.
I'm used.
Oh,
Even
Ah,
the
that's
thing
fair.
I'm like, I don't feel like eating it.
Mm, mm.
mm,
I understand.
Mm.
It's also the reason why if we have parties, I will opt to cook, which actually goes to my next piece of content. When I cook my house, we never use
mm,
MSG if we can handle
mm.
it. Like
Mm.
unless it's already in like a tinned food or comes in packets, then
That's
we have to.
unavoidable.
But
Mm.
if everything is from scratch, and trust me, it is. I make spaghetti bolognese
Yay,
from
yay,
scratch. Okay, don't at me.
yay.
I make it the Nona's way. I put milk.
Whoa.
I think that's
What
like
sauce?
southern Italy bolognese.
What sauce? Bolognese.
Mm-hmm.
Bolognese.
And it takes like
Okay.
3 to 4 hours to cook, that kind of thing. Like the true nonna way. Like true Italian nonnas. They will not yell at me
Okay.
because I'm following the true Italian way. Um, I'm not Italian. I am the least bit Italian. Um, anyway, getting to that. Do you cook your own meals? How often do you do it?
Cook.
Who do you harass into helping you?
Of course, my caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I would cook at home like a few times a week. I usually prefer home cooked food actually because it's more of something that I can control
Mm-hmm.
what goes inside there. And I can control the portions as well. So yeah, I cook often, but sometimes it has to depend on the caregiver as well. Like if they're in the mood, then yes. If they're not in the mood, then we'll just stick to biscuits and tea.
Boo.
Mm.
Yeah.
Um, Aina, do you cook?
No, not at all.
Mm,
No, and
it's
never.
is it it's because of the strength component, is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Because of that. And I don't think I like cooking at all. I like seeing, I like eating, but not cooking.
I love cooking. I think cooking is a part of my
Oh,
DNA.
The
Um,
process is enjoyable.
the entire
uh,
part of cooking is where my life is at. I love food, making, eating, everything about food. To the point where I hosted a guy at my house, through couch surfers a really long time ago. Hi Bryce, if you're listening at all. Um, and he used to work in a professional kitchen, and he told me because we were cooking. I was cooking Malaysian food for him because he's never had it. And I was like, okay, yeah, you have to do this. And he was like, you cook really well. And I'm like, home cook. I cook what I know how to cook. And then I try other stuff and hope it works. And he was like, do you like cooking? And I'm like, yeah, I wish I could have my own restaurant or kitchen. And he was like, you can. And I'm like, actually, I cannot, because it's not just the fact that I'm in a wheelchair, it's the fact that I'm very, very weak, and cooking is a very intensive activity.
mm,
It's also something that I view in part as exercise, because you use so many different motions to sort of pick things up, put things down, cut things, make sure you don't slice your hand off, because that's important. And you have to sort of manipulate the knife and stuff like that.
Yes.
Um, I love it so much because you get to see the process of different individual ingredients turning into a delicious mess. And then you get to put it in somebody's mouth and they become happy and fat. And it's your fault. And I love that. They're like, this is really good. And I'm like, yes, yes, become fat. Yes. I cannot be fat alone.
Okay.
So yeah, I've always been in love with the creation of food. Currently, I don't cook as much because I need somebody who knows where everything is in the kitchen. I need a sous chef. I'm the person who
Yeah.
knows how to make things, and I can instruct you how to make things as long as you know what these things are. Like if I go, can you get me the bay leaf? And you don't know what a bay leaf is, I will sort of get quite annoyed because then I have to show you a picture like this is a bay leaf. And then you have to go find it. It's like MasterChef, except it's just picking stuff up that you have never experienced before. And I'm like, yeah, so you know caul fat? And they're like, what? The fat of a cow that surrounds the stomach. The what? And I'm like, okay, never mind, forget it. It's a struggle when you theoretically know how to cook a lot of things. You have once upon a time cooked a lot of things, but now you just don't have the strength to do it yourself. Oh, it's so vexing. It's so annoying because I'd like to say I cook pretty good actually. Like my
You
food
know what?
really good.
You know what? I can imagine you turning into Gordon Ramsay in
No.
the kitchen.
No, not even. No, he's a very, very good chef. Like, he's actually a really nice person, but the American
I,
show just makes him sound horrible because Americans like drama. No offense, Americans. It's kind of true. You started all the wars. Anyway, um, yeah. Anything else about cooking your own meals? What's your favorite food to cook? I know. What's your favorite
spaghetti.
food to eat for your mom? And can you give me the recipe after this show so I can steal it?
Wow.
Spaghetti.
By my
What kind of
mom.
spaghetti?
I thought I'm more into like I like kampung dishes, you know, the loud kampung food like
Mm.
gulai, tempoyak, pucuk
Oh,
ubi.
I love
Oh,
gulai.
so sweet.
Gulai
Yeah,
tempoyak is the
and what else?
best. Um,
Gulai ikan masin with pineapple. It's like, oh my god,
I've
it's so
never
good.
had that. Gulai ikan
Have you
masin
never
with
had that?
pineapple. No, never.
It's so nice. You should try. You know, it's
Is
like
it masak
very
lemak?
yeah. It's like masak
Okay,
lemak. You just put
okay, okay.
pineapple and also ikan masin in it.
Because I've had masak lemak with pineapple before, but I thought it was masak lemak instead of like gulai ikan masin masak lemak or gulai ikan
But you
masin
need to
with
add on
pineapple.
also gulai ikan masin. Yeah.
Sedap.
Has anyone tried? Has anyone tried pindang before?
I- Pinggang?
Pindang, the telur. You mean the telur?
Ikan pindang. It's an Oh, I forgot. That's because my caregiver is an Indonesian. So it's
Well,
an Indonesian dish. So it's like kind of like it's like kuah lemak, but it's not really kuah lemak. It's like sort of there, but it's a different spin on kuah lemak.
I've never had that.
And
I'm not sure.
they call it ikan pindang. It's really nice. So if you want the recipe, I can send it to you. But
I might
you
have
need
to
to
Google
ask her
that.
because she doesn't even measure the ingredients.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
usually
essentially how I
Asian is
cook.
like that. It's an Asian thing.
You know, I'm
Oh.
always asking her. I'm always asking her. I said, "How many stuff did you put?" And she said,
Okay,
"I
okay.
don't count. I just throw it in." I'm like,
That
"What?"
Yeah,
when you
like
know how to
you know
cook, that's how you cook. The famously the auntie who taught Gordon Ramsay how to masak
the
rendang,
auntie
it's
Aini, right?
agak-agak. Auntie
The
Aini, is it?
agak-agak, right?
Agak-agak. That's
Yeah,
exactly
auntie
how I
Aini.
cook, and I'm like, I know exactly how to put exactly how much stuff to put in, and then I just put it in, it comes out nice. Um, and what I realized about cooking is that it is a lot about timing. I just know when to put the next thing in. Like people are like, okay, when do you do this? Is it 10 minutes? And I'm like, I can't tell you if it's 10 minutes or not. If it's high heat, it's when the vegetables go a
That
little
that
bit
that.
soft and
Uh,
translucent and
that's what
slightly
my caregiver
caramelized.
tells me.
It's
That's
true.
what
Okay,
I always.
so I googled ikan pindang. Over here we call
Yep.
it ikan singgang.
Oh,
It's
ikan
a
pindang.
very
Yeah.
watery dish, and their version has a lot of kunyit. So it's more
yeah.
yellow. My ikan singgang is the Kelantan style, so it has a lot of budu and no kunyit.
Ooh.
It's very clear the budu color
Yeah.
ni.
Oh my god, it's so good though. Oh god, it's the best. I haven't had
Oh.
it in a while. Ikan singgang, you have to use mackerel because it's a very fatty fish, and it sort of makes
Yeah.
the sauce more luxurious that I can drink it in a cup. But you can also make it with beef. I don't
Fish
Yeah,
eggs.
daging pindang.
My
Yeah.
fish eggs. I've never had it with fish
fish
eggs
eggs.
before.
We got fish egg.
Fish eggs. You know the fish eggs. Like
Mhm.
my caregiver, if she can find fish eggs in the wet market, she would put that in the ikan pindang.
Oh shit, that's so
Oh.
good. Num num
It's
num.
good. It's good. It's very
Just
good.
letting all of you know, I have eaten dinner. I'm very very full, but thinking of all these food, I'm like, yes. Oh, that
She
sounds so
going to
tasty.
cover.
Oh damn. But yeah, you did say something about spaghetti. What kind of spaghetti?
Spaghetti. Spaghetti, but it's a spicy twist. With a
Mm,
spicy twist.
like an
So
aglio
it's like
olio kind of thing?
not really, but it's kind of like okay, because I usually because I went fast, so I use those kind of like bottled tomato sauce.
Uh-huh.
You know the ones, the spaghetti sauces that you can get off the shelf
Yep.
in any supermarket. So yeah, just but the first thing you have to do is that you have to fry the garlic and onions until they're fragrant, and then after that you add in the spaghetti sauce. Usually I use tomato, traditional tomato. So after that you put in the chilies, and then it becomes more fragrant. And the last part is you add the tuna inside, and then that's it. Voila, done.
Ah, spicy
So
tuna spaghetti.
yeah, it's something like that. It's simple, but it's really nice. It's really delicious. So if you have the time, you can try it. It. I think it takes about less than half an hour to cook it up.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I would totally eat that. Spicy tuna spaghetti is very simple dish to make and very
But
filling and hearty.
one warning is that once you eat the spicy version of spaghetti, you don't want to go back to the non-spicy version
Oh,
because
Oh.
you're addicted to the spice.
don't worry. There's different kinds of spaghetti. We do all sorts in this house. We go spaghetti Napoli, spaghetti carbonara. They all have different flavor profiles for when you want certain things. We also have
How about pesto? Have you tried
um
pesto?
I have made both kinds of pesto. So the usual pesto is pesto genovese, which is the green one,
Mm,
and then there's the
yeah.
red pesto with sun-dried
Red
tomatoes, which
pesto.
is yeah, sun-dried tomato pesto. It's nom 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 nom.
I
It's
only have the recipe
fresh.
for the green one though. Red one, no.
I am probably going to make a lot of Italians angry, but you can make pesto if you have a leaf, garlic, oil, nuts, and cheese.
Pine nuts.
Nuts, any nuts.
Any nuts?
You just have to make sure the flavor profile is correct because I have made pesto out of I think I use walnuts, radish greens, uh what did I had parmesan cheese and the usual other
Okay.
stuff. But
Mm-mm-mm.
the nuts aid in emulsification. The cheese
Mm-hmm.
makes it creamy. The
Yeah.
oil makes it sort of a little bit soggier so it coats better. What am I
Mm.
missing? The garlic gives it bite. The leaves
Mm-hmm.
gives it leaves, I guess. I don't know. Just green shit. It gives you the herby smell, which is why pesto genovese is pine nuts and basil and garlic.
Mm.
Um,
Yes.
it's
And olive
good
oil.
and rich. And olive oil, you need olive oil, okay? Like
Mm-mm.
pesto, you must have olive. You cannot have any other oil. I'm afraid there is no wiggling out of that one. You need good extra virgin olive oil because you don't cook this.
Yep. You just blend it.
Exactly. But even olive oil, there's different flavors. So you don't want too strong an olive oil based on what kind of pesto, what kind of herbs you're going to use, what kind of peanuts, what kind of cheese you're going to use, because sometimes the oil might drown out every other flavor. So baking is a science, right? Cooking is an art.
I think I feel that baking. You know why? Because every time I bake the cake, especially the middle part, it's always never cooked.
Because again, baking is a science. You have exact measurements at precise temperatures at specific timing. If you mess that up, you ruin everything, which is why I do not bake. I mean, I do not bake sweets. I bake animals. I'd like to think I make the best turkey anywhere. Christmas is coming up. Moving on. I want to sort of, and this is having to do with Joyce's post that she sort of pinned. It's a few posts by this Mike Noon, Megan DeJarnette, and yeah, the other one is Megan DeJarnette as well. And it is Eating with SMA, the art of chewing and swallowing, and tips for eating out at a restaurant. I find these articles very, very interesting. I'm going to show them to you right now. Starting with eating with SMA. It's interesting because do you feel self-conscious when you're eating in public in terms of keeping your head up, chewing, swallowing, holding cutlery, drinking? Hello?
Hello?
Sorry. Yeah?
Yes. So do you have issues with being self-conscious when you're eating in public?
I used to have this self-conscious when I'm eating outside, but now no.
Hmm.
Last time, yes. But now, no. No more is because I feel like I don't have to satisfy anyone.
I still
No,
do
not for
because
me.
It's like,
I still have the need to sort of be proper when I'm eating, use the cutlery properly. It's a very hard habit to drop.
well, that's an etiquette, so that's a must. But like, as for being self-conscious, like people looking at me when I'm eating outside, I don't care anymore because it's like I cannot satisfy anyone, right? I mean, like it's more about my own comfort.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want to stare, just stare because I cannot help it. You know, I'm trying my best to enjoy my meal. If you want to spend your time, waste your time looking at me, then fine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm. But this particular article by Mike Noon talks about eating with SMA, and he pretty much talks about what we spoke about earlier about
Yeah,
challenges
yeah.
with eating,
Yeah.
adaptation that we have, asking food to be cut, and funnily enough, he has one bit about eating sandwiches and living in Philadelphia, the home of the Philly cheesesteak. Oh God, oh that makes me hungry though. It's a messy endeavor, and I understand that. So there's I guess this goes back to Joyce's question, like what food do you tend to avoid? For us, it's not hoagies, it's crab.
Crab.
It's very much crab.
I would
Um,
only indulge in seafood if I'm at home.
it's because it's a messy thing. Like if I eat seafood, I look
Yeah, it's a
absolutely barbaric because I am thankful that I still have an amount of jaw strength to be able to turn the crab sideways and then just bite down and crack it. But that means there might be the risk of having crab shell in between your teeth, and God, that hurts. Oh my God, that is the worst feeling ever.
No.
I do not I hate it. Ah, it's the worst. Um, but yes, moving to Megan DeJarnette's The Art of Chewing and Swallowing with SMA. Um, there's this jaw alignment stuff, and this is definitely something that a lot of people should sort of realize that not everybody can just eat everything, and it is a chore, even though it's something that you love doing. And I don't personally want to be in that position because I like steak and I like chewing things.
okay.
That people have to bear in mind for SME, we eat very slow.
Oh my god. Okay. Since you
That's
brought that
something
up.
that, yeah, like I even had a few friends like, why are you so slow? I'm like, I have SME, so bear with me.
Yeah. Oftentimes I eat and then I have to tapao.
Mm. Will be the last one that finish the food.
Always. And the worst part is during COVID, I eat even slower. Because during COVID times you stay at home, so you don't really have to keep up with anyone else.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would read or do another activity or watch something while eating. So I take about 2 hours to eat something. The food is cold. Do not get me wrong. It's a terrifying experience if you don't like cold food. I am fine with it personally. And I'm very, very used to it. But going out again and realizing you're the last one in your group still eating and everybody's staring at you like, are you done? And I'm like, I'm so sorry, guys. And they look at me, they're like, no, we're not looking at you because we want you to eat faster. We're just, looking at you because we're looking at you. And I'm like, nice try on the cover, my friends, my beloved friends. But yeah, I'm sorry. And then I'll just continue eating as fast as I can, which isn't very fast. I used to be slow at eating before. Now I'm even slower, which is terrifying. So
I usually take around 10 minutes.
that is fast one.
It's so
You know,
fast.
you know why? Because my portion is small and I seem to have some sort of immunity towards hot drinks because I just kind of like slurp my way through the whole mug of coffee.
Asbestos mouth.
I do
Wild.
get, I do burn the roof, the mouth, the roof of my mouth, but I'm like kind of like numb
Are
now,
you
so it's like
uh-huh.
I just only take 10 minutes.
Are
I'm
you
done.
eat to live or live to eat?
I think it's more towards eat to live. Yeah.
I am live to eat.
I'm live to it.
I will safely say, barring religious observances, I will eat anything once. And I have an
Really?
entire list of things that I have to eat. For example, I still haven't found scorpion or spider. I have eaten the other bugs. I haven't had the sago worm in Sabah, like fresh. I haven't tried balut. I want to try snake in 7 ways, which means drinking the heart or something like that. There's so many things I want to eat. Like I just want to experience everything. That is my how you say my raison d'être. Your reason to live.
Reason to be. Okay.
But yes, so this is this person's top 5 tips for safely and successfully eating. Select items that work for you. Prepare the items how you need them. Don't be afraid to make special requests. Chew thoroughly. I I think chew thoroughly should go to everyone on this planet. Like chew your food, dudes. Damn. Use sauces to lubricate food.
I
Yeah,
count
yes.
30 times.
You count? I swallow when I get bored.
Yep.
Damn.
I counted 30. Choose. Yes.
That is
It's
intense.
easier to digest, Why?
Cause I never count anything. It's like 1, 2, 3. Cause I'm doing other stuff at the same time, so I stop chewing when I'm bored or sufficiently. It is masticated, and I know, and I'm just like, okay, done. Okay, yes, but these 3 articles, I will link it in the doobly-doo at the end of this session. They're really good articles if you want to read them. Yeah, so that is what we have for food. I think we can go to travel now.
Bravo.
And it is honestly the more vexing portion of this cast, and I'm keeping it to about 20 minutes because there's really not much to say that we haven't already spoken about in the greater topic about food, because we are talking about travel, um, specifically when it comes to traveling for food, and it's something that Malaysians do a lot. We will travel 45 minutes to get the best seafood, that kind of thing. Um,
Mm.
Again, we spoke about accessibility when it comes to traveling, bathrooms, which inhibits our ability to be properly hydrated, who we're going with, how far it's going to be. But do you guys enjoy traveling to get food? Or is it something you'd rather not?
Yes, I do enjoy
Not
it.
really.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy it. I don't mind
Okay.
to go for 1 hour just for to get the nice ikan bakar.
Oh, yes. Um,
I
Now
don't mind doing that.
we have two opposing views. I'm going to be the impartial person here. Why yes and why no?
I know you want to go first.
Okay, why? Yes, because you get the food, the delicious food that you want. I don't mind if it's far. I even went that with my family for a few times. We just go to the, where is it? Where is this place? Kuala Selangor. Just to
Oh
eat
my
mie
god.
udang. Mie udang? Mie udang banjir, I think they call it. I'm like, oh, that's 1 hour plus just to eat that, but I don't mind. I'm okay.
I haven't
But then
had,
when you come back home, hungry again lah. It's 1 hour plus, right? It's
but
really
worth
that.
it though.
Yeah, but it's worth
It's
it.
it's so worth it. I haven't been to Kuala Selangor in absolute ages, and I think I'm gonna
You
have
should
to
go.
rope a bunch of people when it's not going to Banjay,
Yeah, yeah.
and
True.
go there and have like an eating thing. Okay. Joyce, why no travel for food?
I think no, it's because it's more about the issue of accessibility and the availability of transport,
Uh-huh.
I guess. I
Uh-huh.
mean, for my case, because I don't have to transport, I don't have my own transport, I rely on public transport. So going to far places just to eat something nice is really out of the question for me.
That
Yeah.
is fair. That is fair. Because going
Mhm.
out to eat, you do rely a lot on other people
Mm.
when you do so,
Mm.
and that's just part and parcel of just going out. I go out to eat with my friends a lot. We're going out on Sunday to celebrate either Malaysia Baru 2.0 or Malaysia Summer 65. Is it 65? Yeah, we don't want the latter. We want the former. I
Mm.
say we, I mean me, and I don't want to speak for anyone else. Um, but yes, I personally enjoy going far to find food that is good, and that includes traveling on planes, which I want to talk about because we have a lot of stories about airlines sort of dissing us and being horrible
Mm.
just in general. So I'm just gonna pull up um, two articles. The first one, hang on. The first one is Australian. So, woman forced to crawl on plane after Jetstar fails to provide wheelchair. A woman says she was humiliated when Jetstar staff couldn't provide her with a wheelchair to leave a flight, forcing her to crawl on the plane. This was in October 31st of this year. And I thought that was wild because it's not the only one. Somebody wrote, George Sensales wrote on the 30th of September 2022, AirAsia profiteering on disabled flyers' needs. I think we do really need to talk about this, and we will talk about it more at length um, one day, just not today. I just want to touch upon this first because I like to travel elsewhere to find food, and sometimes traveling on planes is very unkind to us because they strap you in a chair, you cannot guarantee that the staff will be able to help you, and then you have the whole rigmarole of going early, um, making sure you can ride your wheelchair or scooter to the gate, having them uh, fold up the scooter, and hopefully it will get to the place that you're going to in one piece, and you get it at the gate. Otherwise, you have to wait. You have to use other people's wheelchairs. Let's not sort of deny the fact that disability tax exists. And I'm not talking about like a legal sanction or a taxable thing that is legally done. No, it is something implemented on disabled peoples by companies simply because they are forced to accommodate us, and it should be something that we look at more seriously, because it is incredibly a biased practice, debilitating, in fact. Like I if I have to think about travel, it's a lot. It's so much preparing. It's just mentally preparing for everything, making sure you have all your documents. It's just difficult as a person with disabilities. Like, you're at the whim of everyone else in that situation. But at the end of the day, you get to go to a place where you get to experience the food. And I think that is a worthy trade-off. But I say that with a lot of salt, because although it is a worthy trade-off in a way, because I live to eat, if you eat to live, it is absolutely non-negotiable. So that is a huge issue that we need to address as a community in Malaysia and everywhere else that you people are watching from. Where am I going with this? I'm not quite sure. I just know that we need to talk about this, and it is very important that we need to talk about this, and we will talk about it further probably next month. And it would be really good, especially when next month we'll see what Malaysia 2.0 or Malaysia 65 has up our sleeves. Last topic in terms of traveling to and from food. Your thoughts about this country and its potential for heavy rain. I personally hate it. Joyce, you have a lot of problems with public transportation and rain in general. I think you are the best person to speak with us about this, purely because you are most in contact with public transport. I am not. I think Aina is also not, because we depend on people driving us.
Yeah, true.
I just
I think
feel
Josh will be the
unsafe.
best.
Yeah, I just feel very unsafe on public transportation, although I do desperately want to use it, because God, it's just so difficult. I don't like bothering people. I like doing things by myself. So Joyce, your 2 cents on rain.
My 2 cents on rain. My 2 cents on rain is that it's unpredictable and it's stupid. It happens at the most unexpected times, and it happens when you are in a bad mood. It's always like that. It's always like that. I
It's
have
like,
lost count of how many times I've gone back home soaking wet from the top of my head to the bottom of my shoes. So for me, like, if you're going out, always check the weather. What time it's gonna rain? It's not accurate, but at least you have an expectation of what's gonna happen later in the afternoon.
fair. How accurate do you think? Is
Not
it
really
like
accurate as it's like not really accurate as in terms of what time it will happen. Even though they stated there it might happen at 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, but it's not gonna happen at that time. Maybe around 4, 6, something like that. You never know, but it happens. So you're prepared if you just read up on the weather.
okay? I don't like rain,
You
and
tell
I've
us like
mentioned
how
this.
do you mind like share to us, Joyce? How do you cover your wheelchair from getting wet?
Oh, that's a
Getting
great
wet
question.
when you are okay. The moment you get wet is when you get off the bus, because buses usually drop you off at places that aren't covered, and they don't bother you to drive near the curb so that you can get off at the bus stop. They always drive you to the side of the road, and that's where they drop you off. Yeah.
How do
I
you
don't
stop
care.
from getting wet though?
How
Do
do you?
you use an umbrella?
Yeah,
Are
like
you in? Mm-hmm.
I just have an umbrella with me. I don't have anything else.
Wait, what about the
Because
battery?
the
Yeah.
battery is covered by the umbrella.
Uh-huh.
So if the rain gets a bit too heavy, I will have to find a place to shelter. And that is usually
Wait.
uh
How do you mean like umbrella, right? Like you can't hold it. Then you ask your caregiver, like,
yeah, my caregiver holds it.
then what about her? She will be like,
She is
I'm
also
imagining it. I am
what?
imagining it. I am imagining it. Like, how does she do that?
I
Sensei.
think she's holding one umbrella and then the other hand is holding another umbrella over Joyce.
No, we share one umbrella.
What?
What?
How?
You share?
Yes.
Here,
Yes, we share.
this.
We
Like a
share one
golf
umbrella.
umbrella or a normal size
Huh?
umbrella?
I think it's around medium size. Like those that you can get for around 30 to 50 ringgit.
What?
Yeah, so what happens is that one side of us is always wet.
Oh God.
So it's either her right
Oh
side is wet or
no.
my left side is wet. There's no negotiation on this because you cannot function if you hold an umbrella that is too heavy. You have to consider her part.
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
if she's holding a very big umbrella, she's going to get tired very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not going to be very good for you because one thing is that she'll get frustrated, you'll
Mm-hmm.
be in trouble, and things will erupt. So it's better if we just try to compromise. Yeah.
Okay. I've always considered using those ponchos, the plastic ponchos, the really shitty one, but get like a better version. And I also considered using a yellow baseball cap. So a yellow baseball cap and white poncho, so that on my
Okay.
scooter I look like a massive duck.
I have a poncho actually, but I don't use it because the thing is that it'll get stuck between the wheels
Ah.
sometimes.
Mm.
Well, I have a trike. I have a tricycle. It's a motorized scooter that has three wheels. I don't know if it'll get stuck. I've never actually tried this, I think. Like it's in my to-do list, but I've never actually done it.
Let us know
Because
once you try it.
yeah. I'm afraid of the pavements. That's what I'm afraid of. Like
Because
because sometimes it's too high and I have legitimately
oh yeah.
smashed my face in from going on a pavement too hard because I thought I could make it. Actually, no,
I
it wasn't
think
just once. I've done it twice and it hurts.
Okay. So who picked you up?
Um
I think
the
perhaps engineers out there who listen to us, maybe you guys can, invent, umbrella that stick with a wheelchair or something.
I mean
No,
that
I
that would be
think I think
nice. But
I
more
think it
That
will
would be
be
importantly,
nice.
more
if you work
feasible.
for DBKL or MPPJ or MPAJ,
Yeah.
fix your damn curbs. God damn it.
Yeah.
Yes, and the pavements.
Do your
And the
job.
pavements. Make
Yeah.
sure they're covered.
And don't block the pavement. They like to put something like, what is it called? The
Young.
tiang, whatever lah,
Yeah, I
in
don't
between,
understand it.
like
Like the
we
pavement exists, right? And then there's a
Hmm.
tiang right in the middle. There's a
What is the
pole
function
right
of
in the
it?
middle.
Wh-
And I'm
What is
like,
yeah,
the function
and you
of
can't
that pole?
even
I
go
don't
in.
understand.
usually it's a signage post or it's a light post. One of those lah, like
No,
one of the
no, no, no.
necessary. Uh-huh.
Those metal poles are like short. It's short and it
Yeah.
doesn't have any
Oh, you mean
function.
the bollards?
The-
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that.
The one that was implemented to specifically stop motorbikes from going on the curb, right?
There's only one
Yeah.
though
Oh,
on the curbs.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. I can only think of bollards.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's mighty stupid how they do things. Just near my house, I used to be able to go on the curb, but now they raised it. So now I cannot. So if
Why?
it starts raining, I panically look for somebody to assist me because I cannot. I'm like a gremlin. I am Gizmo from Gremlins. If I get wet, monsters pop out of my skin and cause trouble. That is my life.
I have a hard time imagining you looking like a gremlin. You know, because of your scooter and stuff like that, it's really hard to imagine.
Okay, what you do is you watch Gremlin 2,
Okay.
which is a terrible movie, by the way. um, and you realize there's different kinds of gremlins, and I am also a gremlin. But most of the time I look like Gizmo. I am soft and fluffy and small. Until you on a scooter until you feed me after midnight or I get wet. I'm sorry, man. That's on you. It is 11:29. It is the end of our session. I'm just going to sort of end this conversation. It has been absolutely delightful. Joyce and Aina, do you have anything you want to say to sort of stop gap this session? Like words of wisdom, pearls of deliciousness, not boba tea.
I think that eateries or restaurants, they should be more aware of, you know, disabled people coming to dine in, and you know, providing the necessary I don't know, the stuff that we usually need. I mean, because sometimes going to a restaurant is a challenge for some of us who are severely disabled. So I think restaurants should take note. I mean, because in Japan there's one lady who is an advocate for disability rights, and she made an app that gave restaurant ratings on how accessible they are for disabled people. So I think that's kind of cool, and I think maybe someone could do that, build an app like that. Yeah,
I'm
sort of.
Can you link me to this app, and then I will link everybody to this app, and then we can sort of.
I have to find the video first because I have no idea where the video went, but there is definitely an app like that in Japan.
Okay.
Let me find it and I'll send you the link.
That would be very interesting to see if we can do something like that in Malaysia, because I know there used to be websites that did that. I just wish that we had like something integrated into Foursquare or something. I know Foursquare's dead now, but
Yeah,
if
something like that.
If in case we need to revive it, accessibility options would be nice.
I mean, you get to give ratings and reviews on a restaurant as a disabled person who goes there.
And I feel like it would be good to be able to check mark ground floor seating, no stairs, wide enough spaces to move around, accessible toilets, assistance, braille, basic things like that, emergency exits, and so on and so forth. Brilliant, Joyce. What about Aina? Any pearls of wisdom?
I think you guys have said most of it. Not much about this. Just that why not tomorrow? If you can vote, please vote.
Oh yes, absolutely. The 15th general election, is it 15? GE15 is tomorrow. We have a lot of people who voted overseas, and we pray that their ballots are back home safe. People who are traveling back home, please also be safe. People who are in areas prone to floods, please be safe.
Be safe.
If you cannot get to your polling stations because you are old, infirm, disabled, underprivileged, and so on and so forth, we are not faulting you. We are faulting the failed government in this situation. Do not blame yourself. We will fight for you. We are voting on your behalf. Everybody, if you can, go out and vote. We love you all. Be good, be safe. Take care. And thanks for listening to us until the next SMAdulting, which is number 8. Goodbye.